Being a soldier in the Civil War presented many challenges. What struggles did they face? How did they entertain themselves when they were not battling the enemy? When people think about the Civil War, they likely imagine a painting that romanticizes a great battle or a movie scene depicting one of the conflict's defining moments. While examples of Billy Yank's and Johnny Reb's valor are endless, the actual day-to-day life of a soldier was far different from what we see in paintings and movies. Once a soldier enlisted, he was thrust into a world of filth and vulgarity that he could not have prepared himself for. Tens of thousands of unwashed men, open latrines, mosquitoes, lice, and extreme weather meant that diseases were rampant. Smallpox, typhus, dysentery, and cholera claimed twice as many lives as every single battle combined. While in the ranks, soldiers learned to become proficient with firing and maintaining their weapons, taking care of equipment, and living outdoors. While Union armies provided tents for their soldiers, Confederates often made do with whatever materials they could find. Their crude shelters, known as shebangs, were often constructed from brush and oilcloths spread over a framework of poles. During winter, both armies typically built thousands of log cabins designed to house a half dozen or more men apiece. A typical day was filled with the discipline and regimen of camp life. Soldiers were assigned various duties that were signaled with drum and bugle calls, and countless hours were filled with the repetitive task of drill, drill, drill. This kept the men occupied, helped maintain order, and played an essential role in preserving the battle formations used during combat. One veteran described the tedious aspect of camp life as one everlasting monotone: yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Soldiers quickly became accustomed to filth. Men rarely, if ever, washed their clothing. Body lice were an unrelenting nuisance that made living, marching, and even fighting unbearable. The tiny insects swarmed through the men's hair, clothing, and bedding, becoming one of the hallmarks of being a soldier. In moments of intense boredom, recruits picked the bugs off of one another and took bets while watching the pests race to escape a heated skillet they had been placed in. Prior to the war, most young men had never ventured more than a few miles from home. Consequently, homesickness plagued both armies. Letters provided some solace, and the Civil War prompted the largest outpouring of letter writing in U.S. history. An average of 90,000 letters a day passed through Washington, D.C., and twice that number passed through Louisville, Kentucky in the West. Due to poor levels of education, most letters contained crude handwriting and poor spelling. Ink was rarely used, and postage stamps were freely exchanged as currency. Near the end of the war, some rebel officers ceased delivering letters to their men because worsening conditions on the home front led to increased levels of desertion. When paper became scarce, people resorted to writing between the lines of previous letters they had received. Messages from mothers and sweethearts were often prized possessions that soldiers read thousands of times. Music also played a vital role in keeping spirits up. Northern publishers issued thousands of patriotic songbooks during the war, but soldiers also sang melodies that focused on the misery they experienced and the girl I left behind. Humorous songs such as Pop Goes the Weasel, Old Abner's Shoes, Goober Peas, and Mr. Here's Your Mule were also camp favorites. Soldiers often created new lyrics on the fly to provide a lighthearted escape from the horrors of war. Military bands had a powerful influence and were a cherished part of camp life. In fact, military parades, accompanied by patriotic songs and flag waving, inspired many young men to volunteer. Such was the power of brass bands that they were sometimes ordered to perform at desperate moments during a battle. To curb desertion, a few commanders even forbade regimental bands from playing somber songs during winter lulls and times of low morale. Union bandsmen enlisted as musicians, and the U.S. government provided their instruments. However, they often fulfilled other duties, such as serving as litter bearers and assisting surgeons during amputations. An estimated 9,000 bandsmen served in the Union Army, and the Battle Hymn of the Republic, the Battle Cry of Freedom, and Yankee Doodle were the most common patriotic songs. Music also played a vital role in maintaining Southern morale. One evening, after listening to a band serenade a group of soldiers, Robert E. Lee commented that he did not believe he would have an army without music. His cavalry commander, Jeb Stuart, always had a banjo player accompany him during campaigns. Unlike Northern armies, the rebels did not have professional bands. An estimated 1,600 men served as musicians, but they provided their own instruments and were trained as regular soldiers who exchanged their sax horns and drums for muskets anytime the Yankees were near. Dixie, the Bonnie Blue Flag, and the Yellow Rose of Texas were the most popular Confederate songs. Whether rebel or Yank, soldiers spent most of their time fighting off boredom. Although it was officially prohibited, soldiers did a great deal of gambling. However, soldiers feared dying with a deck of playing cards or dice in their pockets. As a result, roadsides became littered with these items when a battle seemed imminent. Baseball was a common pastime in both armies, and many regiments had animal mascots to provide comfort and company. Dogs, goats, and gamecocks were common, but others had bears, eagles, hawks, raccoons, wildcats, and even a badger. Rations never seemed to stave off hunger pangs, and a soldier's diet typically consisted of hardtack, salt pork, and coffee. When supply lines faltered, soldiers resorted to foraging. If a soldier stepped out of line, displayed cowardice in battle, or was caught stealing, the punishments were often harsh. Whipping, bucking and gagging, and standing on barrels while wearing signs announcing their infraction were common. Soldiers were also forced to wear saddles on their backs or carry heavy objects while they marched. Deserters were often executed.